Hello, friends. I hope everyone had a meaningful Seder and is enjoying the Passover holiday. Passover is all about how we honor memory as a people and as individuals. A few weeks ago, I read that a very famous veteran Hollywood character actor named Nehemiah Persoff had died at the age of 102. I had the privilege of directing Nehemiah in a two-person play about the Shoah, the Holocaust, in San Francisco in the early 90s. We took the play to Toronto after our San Francisco run for another 6-week run. And I had the wonderful opportunity to spend a great deal of time with Nehemiah. He was a world-class raconteur and master storyteller. He regaled us with endless tales of his 55-year career in which he appeared in more than 200 television series, films, and theater productions. Throughout the months that I worked with him, he kept us all spellbound with behind-the-scenes vignettes from the great Billy Wilder film Some Like It Hot with Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, Marilyn Monroe, Joey Brown, Pat O'Brien, and George Raft. Persoff played the main antagonist, the mobster Little Bonaparte. It was a great role. I remember his poignant stories from the film The Misfits, the last film of both Marilyn Monroe and Clark Gable. He worked with all the legendary actors of the golden age of Hollywood and left us laughing on countless occasions with his stories about the greatness and the foibles of giants like John Wayne, Rod Steiger, Humphrey Bogart, and Barbra Streisand. He was in so many iconic film moments. People forget that he was the cab driver in the famous Brando "I Could Have Been a Contender" scene from On the Waterfront. He had unforgettable roles in films like The Comancheros and The Greatest Story Ever Told. He worked with the pantheon of some of the greatest film directors, from Elia Kazan and Alfred Hitchcock to George Stevens and Martin Scorsese. As a kid, I remember watching him on the original Untouchables TV show with Robert Stack, and he made guest appearances on every great TV show from Gunsmoke and Naked City through Gilligan's Island and Star Trek: The Next Generation. Many people remember him as Barbra Streisand's father, Rabbi Mendel, in the film Yentl. And he was the voice of Papa Mousekewitz in the animated film An American Tale and its sequels. Nehemiah, or Nicky as he insisted to be called, was born in Jerusalem when it was still Palestine in 1919. His family moved to the United States when Nicky was 10, in the midst of the Great Depression. Nicky loved the movies from a young age, and I remember him telling us that as a boy, he would go to the movies by himself and come home and act out all the parts for his parents and 5 siblings. He grew up in the Bronx, and although he wasn't a very large stature, he was tough and strong and was a street fighter in a rough neighborhood. He attended a technical high school and trained as an electrician. His first real job was as a subway signal maintenance worker, from which he was drafted into the Army in 1942. He was assigned to an acting company to entertain troops around the world until the end of World War II in 1945. He began to pursue his acting career in New York and was accepted into the now renowned Actors Studio. He was one of the 26 members of the beginner's class taught by Elia Kazan. Some of the other members included Martin Balsam, Julie Harris, Kim Hunter, Cloris Leachman, and James Whitmore. In 1948, he landed his first professional role in the film The Naked City. Nicky and his late wife Thea invited my late wife Yael and I to spend several weekends in their lovely beachfront home in Cambria. Thea was also an Israeli and had served as a nurse in the Palmach, the elite fighting force of the Haganah, the precursor of the Israeli army, during the Israeli War for Independence in 1948. Thea and Yael really hit it off, and it was a pleasure whenever we were together, the four of us, to speak Hebrew. Having the privilege of directing Nehemiah Persoff taught me so much about acting and directing. It was also a great honor to be the recipient of his incredible stories from a remarkable life in American film, television, and stage. I'd always told Nicky that he ought to write a book, and I was so delighted to see that last year he was able to publish his memoir called The Many Faces of Nehemiah. It's a great read. Zichrono livracha, may his memory be a blessing. Stay well and stay safe and be well. Shalom uvracha, peace and blessings, and Chag Sameach, happy Passover.